G'day, how are you doing? Hopefully doing very well, keeping healthy and safe. On this side of the desk, we're doing pretty good here. We're gonna have a look at this HP Spectra X360 2-in-1. This is a premium ultra light, ultra thin laptop. Now I actually did the review for the HP Envy X360 2-in-1, and this was even more premium than the Envy. Now if you haven't checked out Envy review video, I'll put a link in the description below. Now these kind of look similar, but they aren't really the same type of laptops. They are ultralight and ultra thin, but they have a little bit of a different feel. Now this being more premium, of course you can straight away see this is an aluminum build, so nice feeling there. And also we'll go through some of the things that are a little bit different compared to the Envy, especially the speakers and the display. You'll see also ports as difference as well. Now, as always, I will be putting timestamps along this video so I can skip to a different section that you may be interested in, so you save you time. Let's have a little port. Starting on the right hand side of the computer, we've got a micro SD card slot. We've got Thunderbolt 4, which is USB Type-C. Then we've got this nice little cut angled on the side. It's very unique to the Spectra. It's the first time I've seen a computer that has this styling, and I'll talk about more of this later. And we've got another Thunderbolt 4, which is USB Type-C. There's nothing at the back here, and then we have on this other end of the angle cut, we've got audio combo jack, and then we have on the left hand side, we've got a USB Type-A port. Now that's USB 3.2 Gen 2, and it is running a lever system here as well too. I just want to have a quick talk about this angle styling that HP put on the Spectra. I really like it because most of the time I do prefer having the power coming from the back end. Just nice when this is actually have it connected and you're working on the computer. Is just nicer that way there, and rather than coming from the sides, as sometimes you have a mouse, or if you're left-handed have a mouse, it's just sometimes what I call annoying. They have cables coming out. It doesn't look neat as well too. And this being a 2-in-1, you can't really have the cables at the back, because when you fold this, of course, that blocks the cable, and well, it doesn't allow you to the cable to be there, and it stops it from getting the transforming mode. Now, being on the angle, this solves that issue, because you can still have this power plug-in. Now, it can charge from both Thunderbolt 4 ports, and you can still transform this and still work while it's in this transform mode. It's really nice. I love it. It's great idea here with this styling effect, and it is unique as well too. So again, same with the headphone jack. Absolutely great. The weight of the Spectra X360 is 1.36 kilos, plus the 65-watt power adapter becomes a combined weight of 1.66 kilos that you might be carrying around with you. The one thing I also want to mention is that I love the braided power cable on the power adapter, as this really gives it a nice premium feel to it. Let's have a quick look at the build construction. This is completely aluminium from the bottom, the top, and all the sides. It feels really good here, aluminium build. Now I just want to take a quick note of the hinges. It's a nice, got a little curvature on the back end. It is very unique, and I kind of like the look of the styling effect of it. It gives it that nice little premium feel. And also, even in the inner side of the hinge, it's got a bit of a curvature as well too. It's very nice as well too. Now let's quickly do the hinge test, as I'm just using one finger. It is pretty, yeah. Then you can see it's gripped a little bit, but not too much. And I'm still trying to make it all the way through, and then it's all the way through to, and it's actually very smooth all the way once you go past that 70 degrees mark, and very easy to close. Now I'm just going to quickly do the quick wiggle test. And it's not really letting go. It is clamping nicely, as even though you can see it's like it is open, but that's because it's got this nice sort of curvature on each edge as well too, and it just gives a nice good feel to it. Very nice feeling to it when you hold it, and also the look of it too as well. Fantastic. The display is a 13.5-inch display, and there are two resolutions you can get. You can get either the 1920 by 1280, and that's an IPS display, or you can get the 3000 by 2000, which is an OLED display, which is the one I tested out, and both have glossy finish. The one I tested out was the OLED display. Now it does have a very special resolution, and being that special resolution means you do get an extra space on the bottom, even when you are viewing a 16 by 10 video. You'll also get a little bit more extra on either side. Now this is actually great for productivity work, but when viewing media you may get some black bands. And also being OLED display, it has very vibrant colors and also very good sharpness for text, and it has a maximum brightness of 500 nits. Measuring the color gamut coverage of the OLED display, it resulted with 100% sRGB coverage, 91.2% Adobe RGB coverage, and 99% DCI P3 coverage. This display is definitely extremely high and is suited for photo and video editing tasks. And I tested the display outdoors in direct sunlight, and I didn't have too much issues consuming multimedia. Even with the glossy display, you do get quite a lot of reflections, but still, being 500 nits of brightness, it still was able to cut through it, and I still was able to viewing the display. And that is also same with text. I didn't have too much issues viewing documents in direct sunlight. Also being LED display, I didn't see any light leak around the edges at all. This is a recording from the 1440p webcam from the HP Spectra X360 II-1. This is the video and audio unedited, so you can hear and see what the quality of the webcam is like. Now, other manufacturers and other laptops I see, at the most, I actually see 1080p webcams, yet there is a 1440p in this ultra light and ultra thin laptop. HP have gone beyond what other manufacturers do. Other manufacturers should actually take note of this and actually watch to see how HP is managed it, because if they're able to put this high resolution webcam on this ultra thin laptop, they should be able to do that in their mobile workstations or even gaming laptops. Definitely great job, HP. And as always, I've got two top slots currently turned on. I've got my one street light turned on, and also the down lights in this room turned on for ambience. I'm going to turn off my one street light off, and you'll see this adjust, and I think it adjusted pretty fast there. And the two down lights in front of me is a bit far away, so there's not much light hitting on my face. This is what I consider a dark environment. Now, if you're in an office environment, you should have much more light than what I'm currently at. And I'm going to turn my one street light back on again, and you'll see this adjust. Again, I think there is quite good white balance, and it's also good colors, and it's all very, of course, being high resolution camera, we've got very good clarity. And then on this laptop, HP have also put a mute button on the keyboard, which is fantastic, and there's also a privacy shutter as well too, which is an electronic way which you can press on the keyboard. I think this is definitely a great high resolution webcam for what I think it is. Now, I'd love to hear what your thoughts of. Please put a comment below. HP Spectra has 4 speakers, and they're located on the bottom on either side of the laptop, so they're actually bottom firing speakers. Now, when I tested out the maximum volume of the speakers, it managed to measure at a peak of 89.5 decibels. So I consider these on the loud end of the scale for speakers, so you shouldn't have any issues contributing multimedia outdoors or even doing presentation at a cafe. Now, as for the sound quality of the speakers, these are good sounding speakers. They've got great bass, even tries to get down quite low, has a little bit of oomph in there as well, and they are very balanced between the lows, mids, and highs. They've got great clarity, even with the volume set to very high at its maximum. I didn't get any distortion at all, and they have very good reverb and acoustics. They're just great sounding speakers. And even compared to the HP Envy, which I gave very good reviews for a 2-speaker system, these actually do sound better than the Envy. So you definitely feel and hear the more premium feel of the HP Spectra compared to the Envy. The HP Spectra comes with a 66 watt-hour battery, and when I performed the battery life test, I managed to get 9 hours and 36 minutes for the Modern Office battery life test in PC Mark 10, and 1 hour and 51 minutes for gaming, and 9 hours and 14 minutes for video playback in the Procon battery life test. I consider this nearly all day battery life, and the one I tested had an OLED display, which usually chews up more power, and this is more high resolution as well. I think this is doing pretty good. Looking at the keyboard, the HP Spectra has a very professional, clean cut keyboard. We've got good key travel, as well as quite a bit of a tactile feel to each recoil or bounce to each individual key. I find that the keys have a more tactile feel compared to the HP Envy keyboard, and also these are quite large in size, each individual keys, and we have very smooth surface texture. The keys are backlit, and they are three settings: high, low, and off. The trackpad on this is a large size trackpad. Now this is super silky smooth texture. Now normally I do say it's silky smooth. This one is extra silky smooth. Even compared to the HP Envy, this one I definitely feel it glides even more. And I didn't have any issues at all registering my touch, and it is a mechanical keyboard, so it's hinged at the top and you can depress it at the bottom. Look at the temperatures and fan noise. When I took my measurement, my ambient temperature was 28 degrees Celsius and the ambient room noise was 35 decibels. Before we get started, as always, I'll just give you a reference point. Your average hand is anywhere between 34 to 35 degrees Celsius at this sort of temperatures. So I took my base measurement when the computer was idle, and the hottest area on the keyboard measured a maximum of 35 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, it's set at 35 decibels, so practically silent. And the average internal core temperature was 36 degrees Celsius. Then I put 20% load on the computer. That's pretty much average use. So that's tasks like office productivity work, surfing the web, streaming video, and the hottest area on the keyboard measured a maximum of 38 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, hit a maximum of 37 decibels. And the average internal core temperature was 42 degrees Celsius. Then I put 50% load on the computer, and the hottest area on the computer measured a maximum of 39 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, hit a maximum of 38 decibels. So I spanned up just a little tad more, and the average internal core temperature was 52 degrees Celsius. Then I put 100% load on the computer, and the hottest area measured a maximum of 49 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, it spun all the way up to 43 decibels. And you really don't hear it whine that much. And the average internal core temperature was averaging at 87 degrees Celsius. I also measured the bottom back cover while I was running 100% load, and the hottest area on the back cover measured in a maximum of 46 degrees Celsius. And of course, it stayed at 43 decibels. I also measure the spectra in tablet mode, and I put 20% load, and the hottest area on the display side measured in a maximum of 38 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, it was 37 decibels. And as for the keyboard side, the hottest area on the keyboard side measured a maximum of 37 degrees Celsius. It's good to see that the Spectra's fan slowly ramping up in speed as it detects more heat, whereas the Envy, which I tested, it was either on or off. And with the Spectra, it's good to see that as you put more load, it is ramping up, and even if not much load, it is relatively quiet. Here's the results for the benchmarks for the HP Spectra X360 2-in-1. This one's configured with an i7-1255U processor with 16 gigs RAM and 512 gig SSD. Here's the results for Passmark, Citybench R23, PC Mark, 3D Mark, Crystal Disk Mark, Geekbench 5, Procon Office, Procon Photo Edit, Procon Video Edit, Pugin Photoshop, Pugin Lightroom, Pugin Premiere Pro, Blender, Burmark, Luxmark, Eugene Engine, and Spec View Pref. And some gaming benchmarks like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Far Cry 6, Cyberpunk 2077, and F1 2022. Now, comparing with the Envy's performance and results, it's nearly on par or only just slightly better performing. I'll say about 1 to 2% better, but nothing really that noticeable. Now we're going to perform the line jitter test. Now I'm going to do this with the HP Tilt Pen, just like I did with the Envy X360. These are compatible with this HP Tilt Pen. Now, I'm not a digital artist, so just be wary. I'll do my slow diagonal lines. I am resting my palm on the display while I'm doing these diagonal lines. Do some quick ones here. Going to bring in a ruler, and again I'm going to continue resting my palm while doing this with the ruler, and I'm going to do 2 fingers, so that's going to be fun. So palm and another finger touching the display, so that's 2 points of contact. And I'll do the swirls, and I am placing my palm on the display while doing the swirl. I'll do it again on this side here. And we'll just see how the parallax is. I'm just going to do this really quick. As you can see, there is a bit of parallax. So it is trying to chase my pen point touch. Pen is also pressure sensitive with this HP Spectra. So soft, hard, soft, hard, soft, hard. And I'll just do some writing. I am placing my palm on the display while I'm doing this. Let's have a look at the internals of the Spectra X360 2-in-1. It is a very different design to the Envy X360 2-in-1, which I reviewed previously. At the bottom here, we've got the 66.5 watt-hour battery, and the battery connector is right here. So it's a good idea to disconnect the battery working on the internals generally, or if you're troubleshooting power or battery issues, this is the connector you want to unplug. Now above the battery, we've got the M.2 slot, which you can see is a 2280 format. And also something to note is it's actually a copper heat spreader or heat sink for the M.2, which is very different to the Envy, which is nice to see. This is a good, very good material to conduct heat, to actually transfer heat. So that is a nice upgrade there. And then we've got a dual fan system, and we've got the process laying right here. Now, as you can see, we can't really access the memory as it's probably living right underneath this heat spreader. It is taking some heat from this heat pipe, which is good to see. And it is, as you see, it is also soldered to the system board. So you can't upgrade it later on, so make sure you choose the correct amount of memory when you purchase this computer. Something to take note of, there is 2 magnets besides the speakers. Now I'm not really too sure what those 2 magnets are really for. I thought they might be actually for the HP pen to stick it on the back. As you can see, the magnetism for to hold the pen, but this is probably not really a place that I would normally put the pen at the back to stick this thing on the back of this. I'll just put the paste back on. To stick it on the back. So this is something that's a bit bizarre. I don't know why that would actually have 2 magnets on that side. I'd definitely love to hear your comments what those 2 magnets might be for. Overall, the HP Spectra X360 2-in-1 being light and thin laptop, this is a very premium feeling laptop. Now, I did really like the HP Envy X360, which I thought was a very premium feeling laptop. This was another level to the Envy. Now, with the display, it is even more high resolution display, yet holds that nice vibrance and sharpness and also color reproduction as the Envy. This is a really nice, gorgeous display here. And with the keys, it is a little more crispy and much more tactile feel to it. It's still very nice and quiet. And also with the trackpad, even more silky smooth. I do feel the actual difference between the actual smoothness of it. Even though I say silky smooth on a whole lot of laptops, this one has that very gliding feel. It's just really just rough off very quick, yet it's still very reactive to your touches. And then the actual build quality again is an aluminum finish, and it's just where the placements of ports. It is different, and I like the actual placement of the ports of it. It's very different. It's kind of nice. The hinge, oh, that is a very nice hinge. Just the design, the look of it, and also just the feel of it opening and closing and holding that gap. It is really nice hinge build quality here. Now, there's also something I really do like about the Spectra over the Envy is where the pen holder or magnets for the pen is a little bit placed different. It's actually on the display rather on the base compared to the Envy. I just like it over here because it's easier to access and also easy to actually stick onto while it's in your tablet mode. And this also has very nice, I love what HP have done with their webcam. They have very high resolution and very high quality webcams. Now, I think a lot of manufacturers should actually take note of this and actually learn from HP, putting better webcams in their computers. And this is still ultra light and ultra thin, yet it can still hold that very high resolution webcam. Fantastic HP. And of course, the speakers. Now, these were even a step ahead and a step better quality than the Envy. So overall package, this is definitely a different beast to the HP Envy X360 2-in-1. Definitely, if you want even more premium than the Envy, that's not a bad computer at all, but if you want even more premium computer, then the HP Spectra is something you should actually look at. Now, I hope you find this video informative and enjoyed it. If you did, it is support my channel. Smash that like button for me. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel by hitting the subscribe button on the screen, I do try to upload a new video every week, and as always, imperfections in life makes it beautiful and interesting. And I'll see you next video.